Hey, how's it going? So a few weeks ago, I made a video about a new method I had heard about on a forum where another excuse me carrier had come up with this method in which they would load their parcels into their vehicle using load truck, scanning it with load truck, and then they'd go inside and they would use package look ahead to mark their parcels. The ones that were green were the big ones that were loaded, so they would use one color parcel marker for those. And then the ones that were red would have to be the spurs, so they would mark those with a different color, that sort of thing. So I made that video and I thought, well, I wonder how well that works. So I wanted to try it, but I don't use parcel markers. I write mine on a parcel sheet, but I thought, okay, I'll try it. So this weekend I was on the perfect route for it. I only had like one pumpkin full of big parcels, not too bad. And the route I was on kind of circled back around on itself. So basically, the first 4 rows of the case, you had to come back within a block of all that stuff on your way back to the post office. So it's like, hey, no big deal. If I miss a package, I can drop it off. I won't waste too much time. So here's how that went. And here's the problems that I came across. Okay. So first of all, oops. All right, so what did I do? Well, I used load truck. So I wheeled the large packages out to the mattress I was using that day. I scanned them using the load truck function, and I loaded them into certain spots based on their section number. There were 2 that didn't scan, so I just set those aside. I wrote those on my sheet later and just kind of put them where they belong later. Okay. So this is what load truck looks like. You can see here 2 packages are loaded. This one's in section 2. It's the 418th stop. Yeah, this route has a lot of boxes on it. But yeah, that's what load truck looks like. Okay, and then this is let me move my head out of the way. This is kind of how I loaded. So this being right behind the driver's seat, number 1, and then 2, and then 3 on the floor of the mattress. That's where I threw the packages. And then 4, 5, and 6, did 4 in the middle, 5 on one side, 6 on the other in the back of the mattress. Okay, so it's I just kind of like put them in that area. I didn't write anything on the packages. I just put them there. Let me escape out of this for a minute, and I will show you a portion of the video I made. This is me just loading some packages into the mattress. So here we go. Pick up the scanner, scan it. Gives me the section number, and I put it in the section. That was section 6, so it goes right there in the back, and so on. So it's just scanning these things and putting them where they belong. Okay, that whole process took just under 5 minutes. It wasn't a lot of packages. Wasn't what I was used to doing, but not too bad. Like I said, there were only like 30 packages. That's what I did. Just scan them, put them about in the vehicle where they belong. Okay. All right, this goes on for a while. Skip ahead, but yeah, it's saying, section 1, section 2, and then I put it where it belongs. All right, moving on, getting back to this. Here. Here we go. Okay. Ahead again. All right, so package look ahead. So after the packages were loaded into the mattress, I just sat down in the mattress and opened package look ahead. And if the package showed up in green, it meant it was loaded and I wrote its number down. If it was red, I didn't write it down because I just put what I do with my spurs is I case them. Okay. The weird thing was though, it was package look ahead changed. This was a new scanner, so I don't know if it was an update or something, but let me show you something. So this was when I tried doing this the first time, when I made the last video, you can see on the left-hand side, you've just got red and green. So green means loaded, red means not loaded. And then there's this little partial yellow. So if you had 2 packages for one thing and you loaded one of them, and then special instructions. I didn't have any of that there. So it's just all red and green the first time I did it. Okay. Now here's what the new screen looked like. Let me move my head a little bit here again. Take a look down here. So now we've got all these different icons on the new scanner, yeah, so red means not loaded, green means loaded, but then yellow means partial loaded. So you can see I had a few partials. Okay. And then here they also have this thing for spurs. Now, how do you know if it's a spur or not? And I had problems with the spurs, and I'll tell you that later. And then you also had special instructions. So they added this little spur icon with the update or whatever on this new scanner. Okay. And then what I would do is, this is what my parcel sheet looks like. This on one side are the first 3 rows of streets, okay, from the case. And if you flip the paper over, you've got the other 3 rows. And so I would just write the number. Like if I had something for 500 Western, I'd write 500 underneath Western. And I just looking at the scanner, oh, 500 Western is green, so I've got one for 500. Okay, 2200 Sunset. So it shows up on the scanner, green 2200 Sunset, or partial 2200 Sunset. Write down 2200 underneath Sunset. Right? That's the way that works. That's what I did. Okay, but I ran into some problems. Here are the problems. So first of all, the first package listed on my scanner didn't actually exist. I'm like, what is this? Because I knew I'd put all the ones in one spot and it wasn't there. And I looked through my packages again. It said I loaded it, but I hadn't loaded it. So that was strange. It might have been one of the spurs that I had inside. I don't know how it got listed as loaded. But anyways, might have been one of the spurs I had because later on it went away on my package lookahead. So who knows? And then I missed some packages because they were listed as spurs. Now this happened towards the end of the route. I was in the 5th row of the case basically, and I thought, well, I should really look at these packages and see if it matches up with what I have on the sheet. So I took a moment, pulled over, and took a look at what I had, and there were a few packages, sure enough, weren't marked on my sheet, but they were sitting in the back of my truck. And the problem was that they were listed as spurs. They were big packages, and what it was is it was an address that had a spur and a regular package, right? So it had it listed as 2 spurs rather than a spur and a regular package. Go figure. But it was an issue I ran into. Yeah. And the other thing was the mattress floor is slippery, so even though I put things in a certain order, they didn't necessarily stay that way because everything rolled around. So yeah, these problems weren't too bad because the packages I did miss weren't too far out of the way. I was coming back around to them, so it wasn't a big deal. Basically, one that I missed was right behind me. And the other one I missed when I took the time to look, and the other one I missed was just before the subdivision I was in. And so when I left the subdivision, I just had to go take a left instead of going right and hit that address. It was only like, no, it was less than half a mile away. So it wasn't a big deal, but I don't know if I trust this method moving forward. I think I'm gonna just stick to writing things down. Anyways, that's the problems I had. That's how it went. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Oops. Let me hit stop. There we go. And see you later.